Hey guys, Al here, Vitalize Seed. I hope everybody's having a good afternoon. I wanted to talk about lime and which lime should I choose. So looking at a lot of soil tests, getting a lot of phone calls this time of year, and it really does depend on where you're at and what that soil test tells you. And I continue to say, we use Ward Labs. There's a lot of good labs out there, but guys, get a soil test that's going to give you everything. I'm getting a lot of calls, and unfortunately, many people are having to go back out and sample again because they just simply are not getting enough data. Ideally, you want your pH, you want base saturations, you want your micros, you want your macros, organic matter, etc., CEC. If you get all those things, that at least gives you a really good starting point. And then if we really want to get fancy, we can talk about Haney testing and soil health assessments and things like that. But at least from a starting point, get a full soil test. Okay. On top of that, let's talk liming agents and how do you know which lime to choose. So when you look at your soil pH, and let's assume that you need to increase your soil pH, you're going to have a couple different options. Some people might have wood ash and so on and so forth. But for the most part, let's talk about the most popular ones. It's going to either be high cal lime in a pellet form. It's going to be ag lime, which is either going to be derived from, most of the time I've seen it in high cal, but maybe there might be times where it's dolomite, or pellet lime in domitic limestone. You should be able to find that in most situations. So you can typically ask for an SDS sheet, or they're sometimes called MSDS sheets. You can ask for, hey, what is this derived from? Is it a domitic, or is it a high cal or high calcium limestone source? And then you'll be able to tell. And or if it's pellet lime, you can flip the bag over, and if it says CaCO, that's calcium carbonate, or if it says MgCO, that's magnesium carbonate. So why does that matter? Because they're both going to neutralize soil pH. Shouldn't that be enough? Well, that's when you then want to look at your base saturation percentages. And if your magnesium is too high in a high CEC soil, so a heavier clay soil, it's going to really make that soil even tighter than it already is. And sometimes that's the biggest issue. That's why a lot of times people just go into a high CEC soil and they'll say, man, I love putting gypsum down, a high calcium product. And they don't always realize what's happening there, but what the calcium is doing is it's helping the soil structure and giving you better soil flocculation, it's called, but basically better soil structure and better soil porosity. Think of it that way. If you're adding too much high magnesium lime, you might be getting the pH in the ideal range, but you also might be changing your soil structure to have a little bit too high of magnesium, which is going to give it a really tight feel. Alternatively, if you're in a very sandy soil and you're just dumping on the high cal lime, again, you might be getting soil test readings that are showing you decent pH readings. However, you might not be altering that soil chemical structure that's going to best serve you. So if you combine that understanding of soil pH, getting that chemical structure in balance, and then good solid biology, like we offer in the 1-2 system, where you're stimulating root mass, you're stimulating microbial systems, you're stimulating planting one to the next, reducing soil disturbance, you can do amazing things in building up soil structure that's going to allow all of the other things to continue to happen that are good for the soil, like water infiltration, better microbial systems, better nutrient cycling, better organic matter buildup, etc. So hopefully you guys found that interesting. This is all about what lime to choose and why. If you guys like this information, please share, subscribe, and follow along, and check us out at vitalizeseed.com.